Hi Pisces, and welcome to your horoscope for September 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm doing the horoscope a little differently this time, so please watch them in this order. Rising sign first, then sun sign, and then the moon sign. And the reason I'm doing it that way is, in my experience reading people's charts, a lot of the time people identify with their rising sign more than they do with their sun sign, and I want the horoscopes to reflect that. And I'm in the UK, so my horoscopes are based on UK time. I'm going to break September down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay particular attention to what the moon is doing, because the moon stays in each sign, each zodiac sign, for about 2.5 days. So in 10 days, it covers 4 signs. And in 30 days, it covers all 12 signs. So I want to follow the journey of the moon through the wheel of your chart here in the month of September. And by looking at what sign it's in and which one of your houses it occupies, it shows me what the energy is and how that's going to show up in your life and what area of your life it's going to show up in. So the first bit of good news is that in September, we've got Mercury, the communication planet, that has gone direct. It was in retrograde in August, and it caused a lot of issues with transportation communication. So if you were affected by that, please expect that to ease off. It's now 22 degrees in Leo in your 6th house of work at the beginning of the month. And it's really good for you to take charge and to take on a leadership role, particularly in your everyday routine, and get things organized or restructured, or in your working life. So week 1, Sunday to Sunday, 1st to 8th of September 2024. 1st and 2nd of September, the moon is in Virgo. It's in your 7th house of relationships. So you're really going to get a clear understanding of where you're at in one of your relationships. It could be a romantic relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be family member, an acquaintance. But the penny will drop and you'll really be, aha, this is who you are. I know now, I recognize this. And either you recognize that you're for me, or you're not, or I trust you, or I don't, but something really clicks and becomes crystal clear. Also, at the beginning of the first week here, we've got Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, death and rebirth, that retrogrades back into Capricorn until the 19th of November this year. And then it goes back into Aquarius and stays in Aquarius until February 2044. So I made a separate video on this in January when Pluto first went into Aquarius. It's a really significant shift. We're now in this 20-year era that's much more about the birth of new ideas and innovation and invention and humanity. Whereas Pluto in Capricorn, it occupied that placement, if that's the way you put it, from 2008 until January this year. And Pluto in Capricorn, I think, is not as good a fit, because I'm working towards something, but I'm not seeing the results that I expect. And in your case, it goes back into your 11th house of hopes and dreams. So for you, here in September, it's an opportunity to revisit certain dreams you had or things that you wanted to build or experience, and for whatever reason, they haven't happened. And until the 19th of November, you can pick those back up, dust them off, and really make a new plan with them so that you can realize your hopes and dreams. By the way, when I'll mention the dates, but if I say the beginning of the week, I mean Monday, Tuesday, middle is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and end is Saturday, Sunday. So at the beginning, so Monday, Tuesday, we've got the moon in Virgo. Then on the 3rd of September, we've got a new moon in Virgo. So the moon goes pitch black. It pulls in a lot of Virgo energy in order to recharge itself for its next 28-day cycle. And it recharges itself in your 7th house of relationships. So your personal relationships are going to be incredibly important to you. Also, if you're single, it's a good time to go on dates at the beginning of September, because you're not likely to mistake a person, or to fall for some sort of facade, or to have the wool pulled over your eyes, or to buy into someone's act. You've really got a good head on your shoulders here at the beginning of September. And even in the area of love, or particularly in the area of love, where sometimes a little bit of critical thinking is required and not always putting on the rose-tinted spectacles, going on dates for you at the beginning here is a good idea, because you're not going to fall for it, basically, if it's inappropriate, if it's not a good fit. On the 4th of September, Mars, the planet of ambition and drive, that ingresses into Cancer, and it moves into your 5th house of love and romance and what you love to do. So that puts the focus even more onto romantic relationships. So not only will you be good at dating, you'll also have a strong desire to connect with another person. So I would then say that the beginning and the middle of the week are great, but I would say the whole of September is great for you when it comes to romantic relationship, because Mars stays in Cancer in that sector of your chart until the 3rd of November. So if you're Pisces and you're single, it's really good news for you, not just September, but for the next, what, 2.5 months? Okay, so we've got the moon first being in Virgo, and then it goes into Libra in the middle of the week, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of September. And it joins Venus in Libra. So this is a good opportunity for you to get your foot in the door of a big institution to get the job. So if you want to send job applications, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th are the best time to do it. If you want to show up in person and say, hey, do you have any vacancies? I'd love to work here. Even that kind of thing is supported. And then at the end of the week, the 6th and 7th, the moon goes into Scorpio in your 9th. And you'll have a strong desire to experience something new or to step outside of your usual routine and to have a really intense experience emotionally, either with another human being or by visiting a place that brings up, you know, painful memories from the past. But basically, you'll want to have an emotional outburst. You'll want to either scream or laugh. You'll have a strong desire to experience some sort of intense feeling. So look at whatever healthiest way you do that, you know, to dump a ton of emotion, whether it's through exercise or, I don't know, shouting into a pillow or bungee jumping or whatever it is. But certainly you won't want it to be dull at the end of the first week. And if it is dull, you may get a little frustrated. So try and plan something exciting for the weekend. So in the first week, the moon goes through your 7th, 8th, and 9th houses. So the focus in the areas where you're supported is in relationships, both personal, romantic, and formal with institutions. And the key thing is to feel something and to feel like you're making progress. So the first week, if you just shut the door and you say, do you know what, I'm not going to see anyone, I'm taking the week off to myself, that won't last very long. You'll get too frustrated and fed up with it. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 9th to the 15th of September. Beginning of the week, 9th and 10th, Monday, Tuesday, we've got the moon in Sagittarius, and that's in your 10th house of career. So those 2 days are really good to make progress in your working life. If you need to problem solve or come up with a solution or finish a project, anything like that, where you need to make a lot of progress, try and schedule it in for the 9th and 10th. You'll get a lot done very quickly. On the 9th of September, we've got Mercury, the communication planet, that enters Virgo and it goes into your 7th house of relationships, where it joins Vesta, the hearth, the inner flame, the transiting midheaven, and the sun, all in Virgo. So it stays in Virgo until the 26th of September in your 7th house. So you really now become an expert in relationships, and you also become an expert in your own relationship to your work, to your career, and whether that's suitable and whether you're making progress or not. On the 11th of September, we've got the moon in its 2nd quarter, and still it's in Sagittarius at 22 degrees in your 10th house of career. So expect some sort of breakthrough in your work, expect some sort of door to open, expect some sort of upgrade in your working life, some bit of good news around the 11th of September. Once the moon exits Sagittarius, it goes into Capricorn in the middle of the 2nd week here, 11th, 12th, 13th, and it goes into your 11th house of hopes and dreams. And to me, that's almost like the 9 of Pentacles in the tarot. This woman who's beautifully dressed and who's enjoying the fruits of her labors. Something you've worked very hard for now becomes real and you get to enjoy it. And then the moon goes into Aquarius at the end of the week, the 14th and 15th of September. And that's in Aquarius in your 12th houses of spirituality and spiritual strength. So it's almost like you've celebrated, and now, because something really, you've got closure on something, something has been accomplished, completed, ticked off the box to-do list, if that was English. And the weekend is likely for some new idea, new passion to appear in your mind's eye, and for it to now become the new priority. So it's interesting because you're kind of unique in the signs with this, that before the 14th, 15th of September, you complete one thing, and then in the middle of the month, you start something new. So the houses that the moon moved through in the second week is the 10th, 11th, and 12th houses, which is the fourth quadrant, which is about really transcending the self usually. So it's about how can I realize my hopes and dreams through my work, but also how can I work on realizing my hopes and dreams. And the solution is to also listen to the input of your higher self, to listen to that guidance as well as to everything else you're looking at. And to just keep doing what you're doing. That second week, something positive will come your way. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 16th till the 22nd of September. Beginning of the week, the 16th and 17th, the moon is in Pisces, and it's in your first house of self. And on the 17th of September, we have a supermoon. It's the second supermoon in a row. So a supermoon is a full moon that's closer to the Earth than it usually would be, so it appears larger, and it also influences us more powerfully. It's a full moon in Pisces, so it's in your sign, but it's not just a supermoon, it's also a lunar eclipse on the North Node. And on either side of this supermoon, you have Saturn sitting in your sign of Pisces and then Neptune in Pisces. And all of them are in your first house of self. And they oppose the Virgo energy in your seventh house of relationship. So you get some sort of illumination, some sort of enlightenment about who you are and what that means for your relationships. And if you've been a Pisces who's either felt like you don't pick very well when it comes to relationships, or you're overly forgiving when it comes to red flags that you just kind of overlook, this is really one, I think, a spiritual like visitation that makes you see, almost like a mirror is being held up to you, how wonderful and lovable you are. And it really means that when it comes to your relationships, you become less tolerant of really poor behavior. So if you're someone who's working through things like, you know, like most of us have relationship issues. Sorry if you don't, but codependency, anything that's less than healthy, you'll be able to recognize it, and you'll also get ideas around what you can do to improve that if you identify something like that. Okay, so the moon then goes into Aries. It goes into your second house of money in the middle of the week, the 18th, 19th, 20th of September. And these few days are really good to start your own business or to action some sort of idea around money or sales, or again, getting your foot in the door of some sort of institution. Then at the end of the week, the moon goes into Taurus in your third house of communication. And again, I think that's very related to it being in Aries in your second house. Any kind of business related ideas, any pitch that you would want to make to a company. So for instance, you want to make merchandise, or you want to work in a particular position that you've always dreamed of. It's really about actioning your ideas and actually seeing where it takes you, taking the risk. Like, so for instance, if I want to work for Disney, right, at some point I can write them an email and say, hey, listen, I'm an animator, for instance, and I've practiced drawing in your style since I was like, 5 years old, and here's my portfolio. A lot of people won't send that email because they're afraid of the rejection letter. And if you're one of those people, this is the time in September to send that application. So I would say anywhere from the 18th until the 22nd of September, because you're supported in getting that door to open and getting a good result. So something that usually would really scare you because you don't want to hear a negative response, try that out and take a risk. You're not likely to be disappointed. On the 22nd of September, the moon goes into Libra, and it goes into your 8th house again of big institutions, the occult, the unseen, the hidden, things that are other, right? So the government and taxes and things that govern our lives. So with the moon being in, not the moon, the sun being in Libra now for pretty much the next month into October, means any of those kind of connections that you want to make to big groups of people, it'll be easier for you to get those doors to open than it usually would be. So now's the time to apply and to take that risk and to take the leap of faith and say, I will ask them if they want to take me on and hire me as a staff member, whatever it may be. Okay, so the week 3, the moon goes through quadrant 1, so houses 1, 2, and 3. And that very much is the self, your perception of things and how you use your unique skills and talents to create independence and an income for yourself. So week 3 is really good to extend yourself and to act on some sort of desire, some sort of dream as it relates to your work. Supports you in getting a good outcome. And then finally, week 4, Monday to Sunday, the 23rd of September until the 30th of September, we've got the moon in Gemini in your 4th house on the 23rd and 24th. And that's really good for the enjoying your closest relationships. The 4th house is where you belong, your roots, what makes you feel like you're part of, right? And you've got the lucky planet Jupiter sitting in there in Gemini. So this is really the best time of the month, I would say, to enjoy good conversation and to enjoy the company of other people. And again, I would say if you're single, it's the best time of the month to date. The moon then goes into Cancer in the middle of the week on the 25th, 26th, and it joins Mars in Cancer. So the desire to experience some sort of meaningful connection, whether that's a family connection where you know you're loved and appreciated, or it's romance where you feel that there's real intimacy and closeness and really, you know, the wondrous experience of really getting to know someone for the first time. The end of the month here, week 4, is all about relationship. The moon then goes into Leo in your 6th house at the end of the week, so 28th, 29th, 30th. And that's a good opportunity to kind of present something or to take a risk again as far as the daily routine is concerned. So making applications to jobs or companies or universities, or to take that risk in relationship and to ask someone out on a date, for instance. The highlights of the last week, on the 23rd, we have got Venus going into Scorpio, and that goes into your 9th house of travel and education and expanding your point of view. So from the 23rd of September until the 17th of October, you're really going to start to have a strong desire to experience something new, either through travel, or you have a strong desire to learn something that you don't know yet, or it's this desire to really connect with someone and to have a romance and to experience that sense of love and butterflies in the stomach. On the 24th, the moon is in its 4th quarter, and that is in your 4th house. So that's the highlight as far as enjoying existing relationships and harmonious times and fun conversations and playing board games, if that's something you like to do. And then at the end, on the 26th of September, Mercury ingresses into Libra until the 13th of October. And it joins your Sun, and you're transiting Midheaven and your South Node and Black Moon Lilith and Juno, all in Libra in your 8th. So really the end of the month, you can now get any door to open. So if you want to work for Shell Oil, or you know, you want someone to take you on as them, you want someone to become your mentor, and you've written to them in the past and said, please, can you be my mentor? And they said, no, I'm not taking on any new students. This is the time to write again and to try and get that connection going. The planets really support you with that. So the final week, the moon goes through your, let's see, goes through your 4th, 5th, and 6th houses. That's quadrants 2, and that's really figuring out what is it that I love and the experience of love. So I want to feel intimacy, I want to feel closeness, I want to feel like I matter, but even more than that, I just want to be seen and have some human contact and figure out a way to bring more of that into my life. So I would also say again that it's a great opportunity to make certain formal relationships happen, but I also think it's the confidence and the bravery to say, do you know what, I'm going to ask someone out. So even at the very end of the month, the planets support you with that. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with in September. I hope you have a fabulous month. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. To draw up your natal chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then that's not a huge problem because there's a process called chart rectification where you send me 10 or more significant life events and I work out your time of birth manually. The chart changes every 4 minutes, so the more accurate the time, the better. If you want me to look at your life purpose or what's destined in career, love, spiritual development, friendship, travel, education, anything at all, please do get in touch for a personal reading. Check out some of my other videos, the videos on the new moons, the full moons. I also do a daily tarot reading on the channel. Please join the channel membership to watch that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please, so it shows up in searches. Subscribe for more videos, and please share this with anyone you may think would like this forecast. Have a wonderful September, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.